Gotta make another couple $100,000 a month. No, I can do. Welcome back to the Entreprenudist Podcast. This is episode 3. This is episode 3 of the Entreprenudist Podcast. I'm your host, Randolph Love III, business owner, entrepreneur, chartered financial consultant. Today, I'm interviewing a business owner and entrepreneur by the name of Gyasi Thurmon. Gyasi Thurmon is a business owner and entrepreneur. Like I said, he started his first nonprofit at the age of 12, where he raised more than $30,000 in 30 days. He owns a magazine. He owns a cigar company. He's the music manager and program director and music director for an online radio station. Not just any online radio station, BDS registered. So that's something that if you are in the local entertainment and music and you want to get your songs played, but you also want to use that data to try to get you other opportunities, you want to make sure your music is being placed with a radio station, be it online or terrestrial, that is registered with BDS. They use encoding to track your spins. Then they put it in data form, and there you go. He's also in Hollywood. He manages an actor by the name of Jason Mitchell. The reason why I bring him up, and you may know Jason from his role as Eazy-E in the NWA movie Straight Outta Compton. Also, he played a character by the name of Brandon in The Chi. And now he's been tapped to play Sean Bell in his biopic. Sean Bell, I don't know if you may remember this. I think it happened back in 2006. He was shot about 50 times on his wedding day. Shot and killed. He was the wrong guy. His family ended up winning a civil suit upwards of $7 million. But as you may have expect, especially back then, all of the officers that were involved in the wrongful shooting were actually discharged of any wrongdoing. So that happened. Anyway, we have Gyasi. I hope you enjoy this interview. Hope you pick up some stuff. And without further ado, Gyasi, thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
No problem, man. I appreciate you wanting me to do it, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I still remember when I first met you in Atlanta. I think you used to wear like it looked like some type of traditional jewelry around your neck. Was I right? I don't think I ever asked you about it.
Yeah, man. So, to really get into that, that was my spiritual beads and whatnot, which has a lot to do with the Ifa. As far as that was the first African culture, from Nigeria to ever be originated. So, that's what my family represents, and that's my family practice as well. So, I represent that, pretty tough, man. And, I like to be covered at all times and, all that good stuff. So I'm a very spiritual person, man. So that's why I wear my beads.
So when you say originated, what does that mean?
Well, it was the first culture. Like the Ifa is something that a lot of people have really like been blind to when it comes down to being cultural and spiritual, because right now, man, it's a lot of people, wearing their beads and this and that, but don't really know what it means. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to your family lineage and dealing with deities and dealing with the heavens. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to Ifa, man, like this has been around since before we even start talking about Christianity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, they kind of, and I'm not, not to down any other, religion or whatever the case may be, but E5 is just something that they tried to hide from us, and they tried to make it evil. You know, when it's a very it's a very positive thing, and it's something that we need. You know, I tell people, I'm like, man, they have ancestry.com, and they make you pay for it, and we don't see that as being quote unquote evil. But when it comes down to you sitting in front of a chief or a babalao, as we call, they call that evil. So I'm like, they make you pay to learn about your ancestors, but in E5 you can learn about your ancestors right then and there, and that's our hidden gem that we don't take advantage of.
Yeah, and I
you know what I'm saying,
and I know what you feel. You had to put that disclaimer in, like, not to offend, right?
Right.
And I get it, man. We are in a easily offendable society, and the way I see it is, no matter what religion or spirituality you practice, is your spirituality or religion telling you to steal from me? Oh, it's not? Okay, I'm cool with it. Is it telling you to kill me? Oh, it's not? Okay, I'm cool with it. Is it telling you to anything that we can traditionally associate with negative behavior, as long as your spirituality, culture, or religion isn't telling you to take from me or anyone else from something that doesn't belong to you, cool. Now, there are things that do historically belong to people, and it's okay to take that, right?
Right.
All right, that's what's up, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, and it actually reminds me of the Beyonce the new series that she put out.
Okay.
And people are being re-educated, right?
Exactly. So this is the thing. Like, Beyonce is heavy in E5. Man, a lot of people, that are really culturally, I want to say, like, aware. They're, heavy in E5. Like Forrest Whitaker, he's what we call a babalao. He's a chief in E5. G Herbo, Future, 21 Savage. It's a whole lot of people, man, that are really, really aware. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to even like Beyonce, her Lemonade album, a lot of people didn't know what Lemonade was representing. So when it comes down to the Lemonade album, she was wearing yellow or gold because of Oshun. So Oshun is a deity in E5 that represents anything sweet.
Hence,
you know what I'm saying?
Lemonade.
Right. So if you do your research on it and you look up Oshun, O-S-U-N, you look up Oshun and you'll see that. And then look up the Beyonce Lemonade album and the symbolism behind it.
And the E5, can you spell that for the audience too?
E5 is I-F-A.
Got it.
Yeah. So we have, it's certain things, like Fantasia and things of that nature, which is, the Hispanic version of, E5. And like in other countries like, Dominican Republic, Brazil, and things of that nature, they're really, really heavy on the spiritual stuff. So, it's just a lot of research that, that us as Black people, that we have to really know about, man, and I feel like, E5, man, like, cause we don't judge the next person. We don't care if you a crackhead off the street. We don't care if you a Christian. We don't care if you a Muslim, whatever the case may be. We're not here to judge, because E5, it's not a religion, it's a culture, it's a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's about how educated do you want to be, about not just yourself, but, your family lineage and where you come from. So that's what we deal with, man, so it's not about, oh yeah, I'm a cop or I'm this and I'm that. We don't care about that. It's a no judgment zone.
Clap it up for the people who don't judge. Clap it up for the people who don't judge. All right.
Right.
That's real deal. That's real deal, man. And so I know JAH-SEE means wonderful one.
Yes.
In Swahili.
Yes.
So the Swahili is that now, and forgive me, man, I'm not, see, I'm self-admittedly one of the people who don't know that much about our culture, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna ask some questions, and I thought about it. I say, should I pretend like I'm just asking these questions just to get you to explain it to my audience? But I'm just gonna be straight up. A lot of the stuff I don't know yet, right? So Swahili, how is that affiliated? Is it affiliated with what you were just talking about, or is it a different side of you? How does that work?
No, my name, actually my first, and JAH-SEE is my middle name. Mm-hmm. So Dakari is my first name. Dakari means happiness. JAH-SEE means wonderful one. Mm-hmm. So with that, when I was born, my family, being in Ifa and practicing, the African tradition and things of that nature, I got my name came out of an African book. So what happens is that your first name and your middle name is the name that the heavens gave you before you were born. Mm. So that's how I got Dakari JAH-SEE. Mm-hmm. So it definitely it comes from my family practice and things of that nature. My father, his name is African. My grandfather, my siblings, on down the line. And if you even if you have an original American name, maybe Brandon or something like that, you can still get your African name. Mm-hmm. As far as dealing with the culture and things of that nature, we still give you your African name that the heavens gave you before you were born.
So is it because I know you mentioned what Forrest Whitaker's title was. Is that the person in Ifa that gives you your name? Oh, well, I know it came originally from up, but is that the person who conveys to you, or is it someone else, or is it you?
Right,
is it you?
That's the person. Right, that's the person that would do it. But that person has to be a service priest. Like my grandfather, he's a service priest, but my father isn't, because my father doesn't carry the gift to be able to connect with the heavens on that level, as far as doing spiritual work and things of that nature. So my grandfather carries that, so he's able to give you your African name.
So that gift, is it one of the things where a certain amount of people have to witness you do something extraordinary?
No, not at all. My father and my grandfather had to go to Nigeria in order to become a priest. And also my father, he's the prince of a city called Ilejibu in Nigeria. And Ilejibu was the first city to create currency out of cowrie shells. The cowrie shells that people put, like when they have dreads and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The cowrie shells were used as currency.
Wow.
So that was the first form of currency before we had the dollar. So before they had the African currencies, things of that nature, the cowrie shell was the first form of currency. And that's the city that my dad is the prince of. That's the same people that made the first form. So it went from Nigeria to Europe to nationwide. That was the first form of currency.
Man, you just slid by something real fast. You said something about my dad was the prince of, and then you just kept it moving. Hold on. All right.
He still is to this day.
So explain. All right. So explain this, man? So all right. So let's start. So where is this place located? And just so you know, man,
it's in West Africa.
And just so you know, man, the reason why I'm getting into this, because I truly believe that the entrepreneurial bug don't just come out of nowhere.
For sure.
It's usually formulated in our childhood years. Would you agree or disagree with that? Usually.
I totally agree.
And
I started off as an entrepreneur at the age of 12.
Because it was expected. Is that why?
Oh, no, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
I was never forced to be an entrepreneur. I got homeschooled. I got homeschooled one year, and at that time, my mother was married to a professional baseball player, and I was homeschooled, so I had access to a lot of MLB players. And the lady that was homeschooling me, she dealt with a lot of kids in the inner cities in Texas, as far as like South Dallas, Texas, and things of that nature, because Texas was, where I was living at the time. So I went there, and I went to where, she was giving back to the kids and, things of that nature. And I was still a kid myself, but I was like, man, I know what it feels like to be, to be around less fortunate situations and less fortunate people. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in Gary, Indiana. That's where I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, Gary had the #1 murder rate, and it wasn't all peaches and cream. But with me seeing those kids in Dallas, man, I was like, man, I really want to give back. So what I did was that as far as her nonprofit went, I started raising money. And I typed up my own letters and things of that nature, and I sent them out to all the MLB players, and they started sending me $5,000 checks, $2,000 checks, and I looked up, man, and in a month I had raised like $30,000 for her nonprofit.
Wow!
At the age of 12. So, and then on top of that, I had to sit in front of the biggest women's foundation. And talk to them on, why I did what I did. I was scared as hell, but I did it.
See, so
it was cool though.
So, all right. So let me, so your first shot, and just so the people that's listening, I know it's some people listening like, bruh, dude just told you his daddy is a prince and you just changed the subject. Nah, I'm going back to this, y'all. I'm going back to this, but all right. So your first shot at the box.
Mm-hmm.
Because, even though a nonprofit is, as the word says, supposed to be a nonprofit, but just so people know how nonprofit works, there's usually a place put in for the people who work the nonprofit to get some sort of salary to take care of their lives, right?
Right.
So your first shot at the box, entrepreneurial endeavor, and the entrepreneurial endeavor wasn't for you to necessarily profit above what was necessary for you to live, what was supposed for you to give that to the people in need. Your first shot out the box was a success.
Right. For
All
sure.
right. So being that your first shot was a success, I think a lot of people have a different story, right? Usually their first shot out the box was a utter failure.
Right.
So, what did that success do for you? Because I know eventually you ran into a failure, so we're going to get to that. But what was that? How did that success feel, and how did that push you forward?
The success, it felt really, really good. With me being so young, I didn't really know how to take it in at the time, because I was like, man, like this is something that I really enjoy doing. Like I really love giving back. Even, because some people, man, they only give back on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and that's the norm for people. But
when
for
people
me,
are watching,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can put it on Instagram or Facebook and show the world. But it felt really good, man, and I kept doing it. I got to the point where I started, selling chocolate. And then I had my neighbors, they were like, well, hey, we'll help you sell the chocolate and take it to our job. So they were just bringing me money back from the chocolate. So I didn't really have to put in no footwork, because I had so many people that was like, yo, we want to help you. Like, just give us the product and we'll go out and do it for you.
Absolutely.
I was like, man, okay, this is great. Like, cool.
Natural born leader.
Right. So that was a really good feeling, man. But running into a wall, that's a good feeling too, because it gives you a chance to learn. Not in a perfect world, we would all love to succeed all the time. But running into a wall, man, it's all about, what are you learning from that situation? What did you get? What lesson did you get from that? And are you going to do something about it? That's the thing. Because a lot of people will hit a wall and be like, I don't want to do this no more, and throw it away. So, with me, man, I felt like that was a really good feeling to, hit a wall, man, because I learned a lot about myself and, my business as well.
So do you remember your first business failure? Or did you block it out?
Man, I've had a lot, man. Well, not a lot, but I've had a few.
So, no, hey, it don't have to necessarily be the first one. Give me one that comes to mind. A business failure that you had. You didn't expect it. It came out of nowhere, or one that you, in retrospect, you should have saw coming.
So, let me see. With my clothing line, oh man.
What's the name of the line?
JAH-SEE Clothing.
Okay.
So my clothing line, I had found a guy, a company that could make my hats. And it was the 3D puff, that comes off the hat. And I was like, okay, saw some of his product, it's cool. So I went through with it, gave him all my product, and he messed up every last one of my hats.
So you gave him the raw material.
Right.
And he was supposed to, based off your request, for lack of a better word, bedazzle it.
Yeah, like he was supposed to, do what he do. And he messed it all up. So I think it was like 100 hats.
Wow.
They all looked the same.
So what wholesale for those hats was probably what? Would you say $5? Less than that? More than that?
I was getting them at a really good rate. I think I was getting them at like $3.50 a hat, something
nice.
like that.
And I like to get into numbers with people, right? Because reason being is what I found in our culture, people that friends, family, no one likes to talk about the money, right? Everybody, nobody knows what nobody makes per year, right? Nobody knows what nobody's doing. And the way I explained it to some friends and family members of mine, why I don't mind talk about how much I make or how much it costs me wholesale to get this product, and then how much it costs me to put my brand on it, and then how much I sold it to the vendors for, and then how much they flipped it for, right? So,
right.
Because in the example that I use is, it could be two family members, right? They could be first cousins, uncle, nephew, niece, aunt. It doesn't matter. But both of them could be doing the exact same thing.
Correct.
One could be making a lot more than the other based off of something that they learned or something that they heard or the particular company that they're working for. But because neither one of them are talking about their salaries, one of them is being hurt. And
it's true.
So now you got somebody that's making based off of they learned a new way, they making $60,000 a year. But now a close friend or family member that you love, that you want to succeed, is only making $40,000 doing the same thing. Are you happy that you're doing better than them? Okay. Hopefully you're not. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you're not happy. At the very least, you want them to be doing as good as you, right? So
right.
let's share this. And then what's going to happen is what people don't realize is once you bring that person up to your level because you shared with them information that you tried to keep secret. And when I say try to keep secret, man, I don't think it's nothing nefarious about it. It's just our subconscious. Our subconscious is telling us to hold all this stuff close to our chest, right?
For sure.
But as soon as you bring that person up, what you'll soon realize is that person is going to bring you up in some way, shape, or form. It's going to happen, man. That's what karma is.
Right.
You put it out there, and that's what you get. All right. So boom. Now you spent $3.50 per hat, 100 hats. That's $350. All right. So so for a young entrepreneur, man, especially from what I remember, $350 is a lot of money.
Right.
At the time, was $350 a lot of money to you, or was it the principle?
It was the principle. You know what I'm saying? Like it, because I'm like, and then on top of that, the bad part about it was that he didn't want to replace my product.
See, I was just going to ask you, how did he handle that failure? Because, we all go through failure, and we're going to run into people who we do business with who drop the ball. So when given the opportunity to correct his failure, he fell back, basically. Right.
And was like, I can't do anything about it. And if I try to fix it, it's going to make it look even worse. So I was like, so in that moment, it's like, as an entrepreneur, how do you react? It's like, do I fight them? Do I go and get my friends and bring them back and they fight them? Do me and my dad come up here and we do something to him?
Basically, which group of people I'm going to fight this dude with?
Right. It's like, all of that is running through your mind. Like what am I going to do in this moment? And is it worth it?
What did you do?
I took everything and I walked away, and I went and gave my hats to the homeless.
Because it was still functional.
Right.
Got it. And as a business owner, if you documented what you just did the right way, it can help you at the end of the year with your taxes.
Exactly.
Because usually the way, because of course I'm not a CPA or a tax person, but usually they can go off the value, the potential value of the hats, not just the raw material cost.
Yep.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. So do you prefer because I know that's what you go by, JAH-SEE, and
JAH-SEE is fine.
And
that's
so
cool.
All right, got it. Now, does your last name mean anything, or is it like, okay, this is my last name, but my first and middle, that's what I resonate with?
No, my last name is my last name, so
got it.
The first and middle, they're just Swahili, but my last name is just Thurmon. That's all.
Got it. So what was the first profit endeavor? Because I know your nonprofit was a huge success. What was the first business that you started with the intent of making a profit?
My clothing line.
What year was that?
My clothing line was first, and then after that came my magazine, and then from the magazine went my cigars, my cigars was a dream of mine since I was a kid, and I had no reason why I was so drawn to cigars, but I finally figured out why.
Oh, okay. So we gonna get to the cigars, because I know you do be popping off on that, and I even saw I don't know yet, and I'm gonna find out whether it's a partnership or an endorsement, but I saw somebody that I'm sure most people will recognize, right? So the clothing, what year did you start that?
Oh man, I was in college. Let me see. That had to be 20. Let me see. So 2013.
Okay, 2013.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
was it
I started that in 2013 in college because I got tired of wearing other brands' clothing.
So was it a situation where you actually had a sewing machine going?
No, actually, man, how I started off, I just started off, getting T-shirts and stuff wholesale, and I was getting it, getting the vinyl printed on there. And so from there, I had got into the sweatshirts and crew neck sweatshirts, things of that nature. And then I was like, okay, cool, everybody liking this. So I was like, well, let me do some hats. So I did like the bucket hats that got stitched on, the bucket hats. Then I went to the snapbacks. Trying to think what else. Bucket hats, snapbacks. And I think I had stopped at the snapbacks, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it was just, the norm that you see everybody else with. And yeah, man, so I actually didn't sew anything myself. I had people in place that was doing all of that for me as far as my hats go. But I never got a chance to, stitch my own clothing. I mean, which I wish I would have learned, but it never happened.
Oh yeah, man, it's a lot of ways to get into the apparel business. I always told myself if I ever got into the business and I had a low budget, that I would start with hats, because all of those hats are adjustable. I know what it's like to be trying to figure out, all right, so how many medium shirts am I going to sell? How many large shirts am I going to sell?
Right.
Do I need a V-neck? Do I need a crew neck? Right?
Right.
All that stuff going. So when you got the shirts, was it just like a logo on it, or was there a 3D component, something topographic sticking out the shirt, or the other hats or anything?
No, everything was simple. Everything said JAH-SEE on it, but I had JAH-SEE was in Swahili letters. So I was the only clothing line with Swahili letters in the country. Like you can Google that. Like nobody else was using Swahili letters to this day.
Nice.
Because for any other brand to try to use it, it would be really, really hard, because a lot of those letters look really, really crazy. Like they look super duper crazy. And so I just looked up, and when I looked it up, I was like, okay, this can fit, and I like the way that this looks. But these other letters, it would be really, really hard. And it's something that's outside the box that, I was like, man, nobody's doing this and nobody has ever seen this.
So what is the economy in Swahili like? Is it thriving? What? Now, and when I say Swahili, because, bro, I'm trying so hard not to sound, because, I already put the disclaimer. I don't know that much yet, right? So Swahili is not just a language; it's an actual country, right? Right?
No. Swahili is just a language.
Okay, all right. And Swahili is the language of
West Africans, Nigerians. Because a lot of Nigerians and people in Africa, they speak French as well.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of it, you have a lot of them that speak Swahili.
Got it. And so that brings us back around. Are those areas one of those areas where your father is a prince?
Yes, of course.
So how does that work? Does he have an older sibling that's the king, or a father or mother that's running the area?
No, not at all. Well, of course, there's a king over there, of course, but or what we call a babalao. But my father, he just got crowned prince because, in his reading / Itai, it says that his wealth comes through his children. So with Elegibu being, crowned as the first city to ever create the first currency, went ahead and crowned him Prince of Elegibu and was like, "This is yours." And my father has to go back to Elegibu to get some other things done and things of that nature. So it's a lot into it, man, and it's a lot that I really don't know yet because I still have to make my way to Nigeria, to a town called Oshogbo, because I have to become a chief as well.
So all right, so it's not like what we know about royal hierarchy. It's not like you just born into it. You actually have to take some steps to claim your right, even though your father is already a prince. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a prince as well. You have to take additional steps.
Right.
Understood.
Yep.
So the next thing was the magazine. So how does that work? How does one first off start a magazine, and how does one make money off a magazine?
So the magazine, well, first off, Secret Society magazine, first off is something different because, and then I'm gonna get into how to make money. But Secret Society was a different name, and I like to play off of people's emotions. So when you think of Secret Society, people think about the Illuminati, things of that nature. So with me, I'm like, okay, this is what y'all really believe in. This is what y'all put y'all energy towards. So, okay, well, I'm gonna use that as leverage.
Yeah, let me get this easy layup.
So with the magazine, I decided not to have a cover. So every edition says Secret Society Magazine, Volume 1 or Volume 2 or Volume 3. So you don't know who's in it until you buy it. Which no magazine company has ever done. Everybody is the same. So it's like, who's going to be different? And what's going to catch the eye?
And then and then they're shocked when they see who's in there or how it's organized.
Right. So when you open the first page, that's the cover.
Yeah, that's clever. That's very clever, right? So what made you come up with that theme? Because I know, all right, so I know you say you like to play off people's emotions. There's several ways you could have played off their emotion. What made you want to go with the secret society theme?
Because first off, like I said, people think about, people want to make, instead of living a positive life, people like to talk about negativity. Social media is built off negativity, and that's what we promote as Black people. So with Secret Society, man, I decided to make it something positive and make it something fun and make it to where it puts a different light on something that was once looked at negative.
And it's actually ironic, man, now that negative seems to be becoming the norm.
Right.
And people usually think of secret societies as negative.
Exactly.
It's ironic. It seems more so that the secret society are becoming the positive thinking people.
Right.
Positive thinking, positive doing.
Right. So when people look at the magazine and they read it, they're like, oh man, like this is really, really cool. The name is different. Like everything about it is different. We've never seen 50 Cent not be on the cover, on the actual cover. You know, we've never seen a celebrity or whoever not be on the cover.
But then when you open it, you're talking to them about something that typically, let's say you're interviewing somebody well known in the Secret Society magazine, and they weren't on the cover as you traditionally see. But then when you open it and you find them, they're being asked questions that you don't usually hear them being asked, right?
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
So you know, it's really, really dope, man. And the magazine is also different because I'm educating at the same time. So when you open the magazine, on the left hand side of the inside cover, it's a Swahili word. And then on the back, the end of the magazine, is the meaning of that word.
A new word every issue?
Yes, a new word every issue. And then I put a quote in there as well. Maybe it might be from Dick Gregory. It might be from Iyanla Vanzant. It might be from, you know, somebody black and powerful, you know what I'm saying? It might be from one of the black inventors that a lot of kids don't know about. You know, a lot of people can't even tell you 5 black inventors or 5 inspirational speakers. You know, and I feel like that's what we've lost as a people, man. Like we don't know our history. You know, and and not to get off subject, man, but I encourage, you know, for the people listening, older people that have kids, man, I encourage a lot of parents to homeschool their kids because there's so much you can get done in homeschool as far as them knowing our black history, as far as your kids having a business, getting their own LLC, showing them how to run a business and growing from there without them going to school with, oh, we have to learn about American history and half of that stuff not even true. You know, and then even like the simple mathematics and stuff like that, you know, we're not using the stuff that they teach us in school. Only thing we're using is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I just encourage a lot of people, man, to really build on that because I had the chance to build on it as a kid when I got homeschooled and I know what it's like, you know.
So up until you went to college, were you homeschooled?
No. I went to an HBCU.
Okay. Now, so
I went to HBCU and I dropped out.
All right, but up until your HBCU, like high school, middle school, elementary, were you homeschooled?
No, not at all, man. Okay. I wish I was. It was just that 1 year, you know, I got homeschooled for that year.
You got to feel it 1 year. How old were you?
I was 12.
Oh, God, bro. You just dropped the bomb for people, bro.
I was 12. That's when I raised the money for the nonprofit. I was 12 years old.
Did you ever connect those dots? The first and only year that you were homeschooled relative to your investment, which was $0, by the way, relative to your investment, you made $30,000. The year that you were homeschooled, have you ever connected those dots?
Of course. Of course. That's why I had to speak on it because it makes so much sense, man. Like it makes so much sense.
You're right.
Makes a whole lot of sense, man. So I really encourage that, man. And then, you know, on top of that, man, as a family, I believe that you can focus more on, you know, your family health, your family finances, and y'all can really build as a family because that's what we've lost as a culture. Is having structure within the home front.
And
it's totally lost.
I agree. See, and I agree with you, bro. I believe it's more of a symptom than the problem, right? Because I know some people listening and they're going to say homeschool. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to pay this. I got to pay that. That's when you go back. All right. I think most people would agree. They would prefer to teach their kids what they think is important, at least after they got out of traditional education. That's when you find out what you really keep using, right? And what you really need. I know it's a lot of people that wish that they could do that for their kids, right? They probably even told themselves that they would do that. But because of how things are set up, because people are, and nothing wrong with being an employee, right? But make sure it works for you. If you're an employee, but you can't go to your kids' events. If you're an employee, but you don't have time to travel. Or, and some people don't like to travel. But if you're an employee and you don't have time to do whatever you think is cool or fun.
Right.
Then something's wrong.
Exactly. And bro, you know what? I'm not to cut you off, but I'm gonna break it down on an even deeper level. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12, right? I moved here to Atlanta, and on my dad's side of the family, so I'm the oldest of 5 siblings. Well, I'm the oldest of 5. So now, during this pandemic, everybody has had to find some type of hustle. Period, point blank. Because a lot of people weren't going to work. People were getting laid off, things of that nature. So while we're sitting up in the house, you're working from home, you're like, damn, like, what else can I do? So my siblings, I'm going to start off with my sister, my middle sister. She came to me and was like, Kari, I'm not, like, because she does hair. So she was like, I can't go back to work because we're not allowed to be around nobody. So what she did was that, for me being an entrepreneur all of these years, I had to sow that seed in my siblings as far as being entrepreneurs. And I'm like, eventually they're going to do it and it's going to be successful. So next thing you know, during this pandemic, she has a whole bonnet business now. Her first day, she sold out, and she sold like 100 to 200 bonnets in 2 days. Then after that, my youngest brother, he just launched his own do-rag company. He launched his own do-rag company, and he sold 100 do-rags in 1 day.
They have,
you know what I'm saying?
They have both your brother and your sister seem to think highly of hair care.
Of course.
So so those seem like 2 spokes to me, right? You got the bonnet spoke, and you got the do-rag spoke. So what's next for your brother and sister to collaborate and come up with kind of like a something that you actually put on the hair?
Yeah, I think my other sister, I think that's what she's going to get into, if I'm not mistaken.
So y'all about to be completely linear, right? Because they're going to be advertising in the Secret Society magazine. Of
course. And I run I'm the program director for a radio station.
Ah, man.
So that's coming. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's so much we can get done as a family. So now it all ties back into what I was saying. It's so much we can get done as a family if we come together as a whole and have that structure. So now everybody is busy doing something. But at the same time, we're all helping each other.
So is it bittersweet? Is it bittersweet that under what some people, and I'm not saying that you do or don't or whatever your beliefs are, But do you think somebody, let's say it was somebody that didn't share the same political beliefs as the people that are in power now, right? Is it bittersweet that under this administration, what some people might say regime, what some people might say Gestapo, what some people might say heaven sent, right? Is it bittersweet with somebody that feels like this isn't a great administration, but it happens to be the administration under which their majority of their family members became entrepreneurs? Would this person be bittersweet about it? I say it wouldn't have even mattered who was leading at that time. We would have done this around this time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, my thing is that everything happens at the right time, and God He makes no mistakes. You know, so I think, you know, during these times, man, like it's a blessing. Like this whole situation was a blessing. You know, I never thought I could make this much money just sitting at home chilling. And I had to explain to somebody, man, because one of my friends came to me and was like, man, I really want to start this clothing line, but nobody's going to buy it. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, nobody has nothing but time on their hands. Everybody has time on their hands. I was like, why do you think Amazon stock went up? I was like, what does that tell you? He was like, man, that makes a whole lot of sense.
It was an
and I was like, yeah, I was like, you sound crazy.
Yeah, it was an
I was like, go ahead and do it. Right. I was like, go ahead and do it. And then call me back and let me know what happened. You know? So, and I was like, you know, my siblings are living proof. I'm living proof, you know?
So
government giving out a whole lot of money.
Oh yeah. So is the in the magazine, is advertising how you make the most money? Or is it other avenues?
I mean, advertising is the biggest way, man. And people buying the cover, because like I don't just focus on like mainstream celebrities and things of that nature. I want to put the average person in it that really has something going on, you know, and really believe in their product and willing to invest into themselves, you know. So
so when you put the local business owner or entrepreneur or somebody that's doing something, and probably the first time that they probably were ever featured, even though they probably should have been featured more often, right? Then that's when I guess they distribute it to their circle of influence.
Right. Of course. You know, it's in like everything that I do, I like for it to be word of mouth. You know, because with the magazine, I could have easily had distribution. I was like, why do that when I can distribute myself? And I don't have to pay the middleman. I was like, for what? I was like, it's gonna grow organically. You know, the cigars, they're growing organically. You know what I mean? So
what's the name of the cigars?
G-Cigars.
Now, would you, and because you mentioned G-Cigars, how you were drawn to it, you have been connecting it, at least based off my recollection, to every point of your story. So I imagine that cigars are the thing that you're most passionate about now, or no?
Of course, like the cigars, that's my main focus. So, and you know, the G in cigar stands for JAH-SEE as well. But the main thing with the cigars is that like I didn't know that or why I was so intrigued by the cigars as a kid. You know, I'm 13 years old. And my stepdad was a Major League Baseball player, and ball players love to smoke cigars. So I actually I went and grabbed one out of his cigar humidor. I went to the back, I cut it, lit it, and I hit it like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, man, this is really, really nice. And I hurried up and put it out and threw it away. And now I was like, man, when I get of age, I want to have my own cigar company when I get of age. So it's been 3 years now, 27. So it's been 3 years now I've had a cigar company. And I recently found out, going to a family function, that everybody on my grandmother's side smoked cigars. And I had no clue.
What was it, a secret?
Well, no, it wasn't even a secret. Like, my grandmother, she barely knew. She knew of a couple of family members that smoked, but she didn't know how deep it was until we went to North Carolina. And we had a family function out there, walked into the house, and it was a whole table it was like 100 cigars on the table. As soon as you walk in the door. And so I'm like, man, like, that's a whole lot of cigars. So we walk around the table, go into the living room, and it's a round table full of cigars. And then we go outside to where they're barbecuing, and everybody in the backyard is smoking cigars. And mind you, this is nothing but family. Like, there's no family friends, no nothing. Like, it's all family. And men, women, cousins, everybody is out there smoking. And so I asked one of my cousins, I was like, man, like, I didn't know, cigars, and I'm the only one that has a cigar company in my family. I'm the first one to do it.
Did you have any samples on you?
No. At that time, I was just getting started.
Okay. So you asked your family member in the back, what's up? What's going on?
Right. And it was like, man, like, this is us, for years. We all smoke. Oh, and they were telling me about my great grandfather, this and that, just family members that have passed on that smoke cigars, and, showing me pictures and things of that nature. And I was like, wow, like, this is really, really cool, So with me knowing that, it just gave me a whole nother level of fire to keep going. I was like, man, this is really, really in my family, So, but I'm just the first one to actually create a business out of it.
Exactly. That I mentioned that in my my first episode of the Entreprenudist Podcast. It's really once you see it, like once it's on your mind, it's like you start seeing it everywhere.
Right.
But it has to first be introduced to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, everything goes from there. So with the cigars, was it like a Frank Lucas thing where you went out into the jungles and met with the people who hand rolling it, or was it like a white label situation where it's up to you to take a quality product and put your amazing brand on it and take it to the next level? How does that work? Is there a starting point that you found for? And I'm asking a bunch of questions at the same time, but I think it's all connected to where people who have successful cigar companies start at here, and then they ultimately get to having their actually linear a factory rolling it for them, their brand.
Man, can I be completely honest?
Absolutely.
So I got my first batch of cigars in, right? Like my first big batch of boxes. I just got them like last week, right?
Okay.
But I've gotten that question asked to me a lot. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, because the game is to be sold, not told, right?
Understood.
So, man, a lot of people, like, we don't use our resources, man. and we got the internet now. Back then, everybody had to really do groundwork and go travel here, travel there, and do this and do that. Now we got the internet, so everybody, any and everybody is accessible for the most part. So, man, I actually got my cigars made off Instagram. I contacted the manufacturer and I told them what I wanted, my blends, everything, what leaf I wanted, the whole nine. And they made it.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and these are from Dominican Republic. And my first sample boxes I got from Honduras. So, and they were originally supposed to be my manufacturers, but I ended up getting a new manufacturer out in Honduras in Dominican Republic that cut my price in half to go ahead and make everything. So,
have you ever thought about putting a course together?
Putting a course together about
basically
business
business is cool because that is something that I plan on making an overall course for. I'm actually building a community for my audience. And what happens is my audience is able to join that community for a very low fee, very low. But in that community, they have access to me. I'm a chartered financial consultant, so they can ask me questions that they might have been charged $250, $500, $1,000 by a professional to answer, right? And they also can go to courses that I created. But so business is cool, but just specifically the fact that so many people, because it's already a wave, right? The cigar wave, right? And cigars are usually associated with well-to-do, because usually if you go to metropolitan cities, when you go to the cigar bar, that's where that's usually where millionaires and billionaires are at.
For sure.
On a regular basis.
I shot my cigar commercial there. At Cigar City.
Oh, the Cigar City Club.
Yeah, I shot my cigar commercial. I shot my commercial.
Man,
there.
I had a good time there, man. I went there with a friend of mine. And you know, and you mentioned Cigar City. I don't know if I actually said Cigar City, but just any city, you go to the cigar bar.
Yeah.
That's where, you know, you can find very successful people, right? Just hanging out. Cigar City Club. I remember the first time I went there, and this is in Atlanta. I'm seeing people that I had been watching on TV since I was a kid. I haven't seen them since then, but they there.
Right.
They look like they still doing good.
Yeah, man.
They getting some royalty checks. Right.
And you know, a place like Cigar City Club, they're really strict on the dress attire, and it's really upscale. You know. The food is good.
So how did you work that out? So I know that was Cigar City Club, very well known, North Atlanta, right? How did you work that out?
As far as renting the space out.
Okay, so it was that simple. Hey, I rent your space. That's it. It wasn't like a relationship or anything, or did that renting that space?
No, I never met those people a day in my life. And I actually had, you know, my fiance, I had her facilitate everything as far as that goes, because I make her like the forefront of my company. So she calls and does, you know, talks to the people and this and that, and get those rates to come down, of course. But yeah, man, it was just easy as calling and saying, hey, how much do you all charge to rent your space out for X amount of hours? And it was like, hey, you know, we'll charge you this, and we got it done.
So did you build from that? Because I mean, they are a staple, right?
The only reason why I didn't build from there is because, I mean, and it would have been cool too, but I didn't really I didn't really want to, in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
because me being so young in this thing, I know how hard it's going to be for me to really break through. Like once I decide to get distribution, so I had to add some variables to my company,
Mm-hmm.
because with me being in like certain spaces, I would see like not to be cocky or anything, but like I would see the jealousy of people that, like I would tell, somebody would introduce me to somebody and be like, hey, this is JAH-SEE, his cigar company, G-Cigars. They would see my box, they would see the cigars, and they'd be like, yeah, I want my own cigar company too, and I'm working on that right now, woo, woo. And I'm like, okay. And it would just like I would just get that all the time, and getting the stares of, oh, this dude, he think he just about to come in here and take over Atlanta and this and that, and this person is supposed to be this higher up in the cigar world or whatever the case may be. And then they would try to test me and ask me questions. So, well, what blend is this, and what do you compare this to, and what do you compare that to? You know what I'm saying? So I would get tested a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I'm doing is that I have a campaign. I manage the actor Jason Mitchell that played Eazy-E in Straight Outta Compton.
Mm-hmm.
So I manage him, and we're doing a cigar campaign. But with that, I added other variables up under that to not just represent my brand, but represent him as an actor. So what I did was that I got a black-owned watch company, a black-owned luxury shoe company, and a black-owned suit company to take a photo shoot, to do a photo shoot with Jason while he's holding the cigar box and smoking the cigars. And I'm gonna put those billboards. I'm gonna make billboards and put them all over the city. So when it's time for me to get my distribution, people are gonna know my brand before I even step in the door.
Nice. So when you say you manage him, how does that work?
I mean, should I just, even with this whole campaign and me putting brands up under him and things of that nature, a lot of managers, they sit back and wait on you to get booked for something or whatever the case may be. But me, I like to be proactive. So when it comes down to managing him, I asked him, I was like, have you had any brands up under you or anything of that nature? He was like, no, I've never had an endorsement deal. I've never had this, never had that. And I'm like, damn, like, what is your management, like, the people that was managing you, like, what were they doing? Like, why was there nothing proactive at the height of your career in the roles that you had? So
do you think it might have been a situation where maybe a former manager was more so a friend than someone who had industry knowledge?
Not at all. It was just a management company doing typical management work,
but no endorsements. So no
endorsement.
Yeah, so that's just a leg that they missing. And the reason why I ask you, because dog, all of this stuff is not an accident, right? Getting a celebrity to come along with your product, right? Finding the right people to that has the quality raw materials to make a cigar, and being able to stand up to the scrutiny, like those cigar aficionados who either A, have a competing product, or B, wish they were doing what you were doing. Like knowing what the blends are, knowing what's considered good, medium, and great quality leaf, and things of that nature. I really do think people would buy that course. And hopefully you put that together. And if you want, man, if you decide to, it's completely up to you. You can bring it to my community as a course that I can offer, right? Boom. You explain your story. Your story of how you got to where you are now, and your story, there's so many gems in that story. That's the course, right? And then every time you get to a significant part of that story, that's when you break down the ABCD questions of, all right, in this situation, what they call a case study. This is what I did. Now, based off that case study, how would you answer these questions? Yeah, man, I think that's something you could do, because what it would do is it will also cut through the bullshit, right? It's some people who faking the funk. Hey, man, I would really love to do that, man, and I ride with you, but they might be jealous. You could say, hey, man, I got a course for $59.99, man. That's $60. That's $5 a month, really, if it take you a year to finish it. It shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they don't buy it, they're like, okay, aha. But when they do buy it, then they can, it changes the dynamic. Now this person isn't somebody I'm jealous of. This is somebody that I admire, because not only did they do something that I always wanted to do, but they showed me how to do it.
For sure.
Nice. So all right. So how do you market and promote cigars successfully? Have you had any big failures yet with the cigars?
No, I haven't had any failures. As far as like marketing it, I think of like really innovative ideas, and then with the radio station, between like the radio station, the magazine, and just grassroots marketing, I'm winning, because we have a competition up under the radio station. So we deal with, I would say, between each state that we go to, we probably deal with about, I would say, 200 to 300 artists in every city that we go to. So imagine maybe just half of them buying cigars from me. I carry them everywhere I go. Mm-hmm. So just off that.
And you do have you laughing, right? I just said So and your cigars they're known for having that two-tone look to it, right?
Right. The barber pole. Mm-hmm.
So I imagine how they might look rolled even tighter, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So have any of those guys said, "Hey, man, shoot, I throw me a quick box and I'll put you on my Instagram"? Anybody ever did that, or that's not how it works?
What you mean, like celeb wise?
Yeah, like, because I mean, even if they're not national celebrities, a lot of times the local rappers are local celebrities. Like they post a picture and get like 800 likes.
Of course. I mean, like, only people I would do that with is people that I actually know, and the people that I know, and it would be baseball players. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, because first off, they have a higher level of fan base, and
different demographic.
They make the most money. So with that being said, like, they support in a way, like, they wouldn't ask me, hey, throw me a box, or can you throw me a box? They would be like, I'm gonna pay for it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like my stepdad, I told him, I was like, yo, when I get my boxes in, I'm gonna send you one. He was like, no, I'm gonna pay for it.
Quality over quantity.
Right.
I got you.
So that's the type of mindset that we have to have. Even when it comes down to local businesses and things of that nature, like, it would be easy for me to be like, hey, throw me this and I got you. I'll put you in my magazine. Like, no, I'm going to buy it from you and I'm going to still support you. And if I like your product, I might put you in my mag for free.
So retail, how much is a box of?
I support your. Well, my big, so all of my boxes come 20 to a box. So my big box is a $250, and my small flavored cigars are $150.
Got it. So you say every box comes with 20.
Yep.
And they're $250 a box for the big box.
Yeah, $250, and the smaller boxes are $150.
So what's which I don't got my calculator. What's $250 divided by 20? I know you already did the math. Let me see.
You said 250 divided by 20.
You never figured out like all right, this is the deal y'all getting. See, I guess it's just a different type of sales. Because all right, so let me see. So if you have 20 a box and you're selling them $250 for the box, divided by 20, $12.50 a cigar for a high quality cigar.
Right.
And it looks cool.
Right.
That's nice. So do you sell it only hand to hand, or is it a place online?
No. I sell everything through my website.
Okay. The website is
Gyasi Inc. GYASIINC.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gyasi Inc. Man. So I'll have these up on the site as soon as because I'm gonna put my QR code on the bottom of the box, so people can scan it and watch the cigar commercial.
QR codes are finally coming out, man. I remember I was on QR codes for so long, but nobody was using them. I said, forget this. Now people are finally getting up on them, right?
Oh yeah, man. And I mean, that's what the world is coming to anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, using QR codes, like even at the restaurants, we got to scan everything. You know, so, and then we're entering into a cashless society. Like the dollar is about to be a no-go. Like it's about to be done in a minute. So the only thing that we have to, rely on is, the banks and things of that nature.
Oh yeah,
Cash
blockchain,
app,
man.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
it's all connected. That's blockchain, the dApps, the decentralized applications.
Right.
Have you ever heard the term "Give Me Dap"?
Yep.
Bro, guess who owns GiveMeDap.com?
Who?
Your boy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at the future. I haven't done anything with it yet, right? And I'm pretty sure if somebody puts it in, I haven't partnered or anything yet, right? Because I really don't know anything about it, but I own it, right? Once I figure it out, I assume it's probably gonna be I'm gonna make it like a directory for the decentralized apps. Which if people listening don't know, what you have on your phones now is called apps, but they are connected to an external force. If that external force goes out or get compromised, that's when you don't have the service or product, and your personal information has been compromised. So when you hear about Experian and Equifax issuing out this money because people's personal information was violated, that's because all of this stuff had to go to that one location, that centralized location, to be verified. What blockchain is doing is decentralizing it, basically saying, all right, everybody is going to get this information and it's going to fit together like a puzzle. If somebody sends out a verification, it's going to look at everybody else's puzzle, and if it doesn't match that puzzle that was already put into place, it's going to get denied. So those puzzles are encrypted, so that way everybody's information isn't compromised at this centralized location. It's going to be decentralized to where you're still going to get the same benefits, but more security. And that's what things are going to. They even have the blockchain contracts, all types of stuff that's blockchain. So yeah, I mean, I'm ready for it, man. I'm just trying to be prepared.
That's deep.
Oh yeah. So all right, so there's a lot we can get into, man. We didn't even we didn't even get into. Yeah, you do a lot. We didn't even get into how does this work with the radio stations?
As far as
Your title, or first, what is your title now, and what did you start as, and what stations do you work with, or is there one station or multiple stations?
I'm the music director / program director for 2hotradio.com, the number 2 hot radio, and we have our own app, and we're BDS certified as well.
And what BDS certified means is that if somebody gets their music played on your app, it counts, quote unquote.
Right.
So what does because you said music director / program director, they're not the same? They're not interchangeable?
So when it comes down to being the music director, I find like I go out and like all the music comes to me, but I mean the music director / program director, it all goes hand in hand. But being a program director, you're programming the music and programming the commercials and all of that stuff. Most music directors don't know how to program. They just get the music and send it over. But other than that, I learned how to do both.
So how does the station, were you there since the inception, or you came on after, or they had already been in existence?
When I came on, it was like they've had the station for 14 years. I've been with them for 4 years now, 5 years, 4 years.
So were they already BDS certified when you joined them?
Nope, they got BDS. We just got BDS. What, last year?
What goes into that process? Because I know somebody else that wants to
do. We like gotta pay. We pay $4,000 a year.
You say how much?
Yeah, $4,000 a year.
Wow. So you really got to have a business plan in mind.
For sure.
Because being BDS certified is something that you can sell to advertisers, or if you're somebody that's focusing on the independent market, which there's a lot of independent artists, I'm pretty sure that's a key selling factor to get people to want to invest with promoting and getting their music on your station, right?
Right.
Because you're an online station, so all that payola stuff don't even play. I know nothing about that stuff, so let me know if I'm saying something dumb, right? But it's different. It's different ways that you can behave compared to I guess what they call a terrestrial station. Is that what it's called?
Right.
Okay, got it. Understood. That's nice, man.
Yeah.
So all right. So, bro, is there anything else that you want to leave with my audience right now that maybe? Oh, you do so much, man. I was looking over this list of stuff that we could talk about, and we can be going for hours. And I could even, because I know you're going different places. We can even talk again sometime in the future, and we can pick up where we left off. But is there anything that you want to leave my audience with? Something that we didn't cover? Something you want to elaborate on? Something you want to promote?
Man, one of the things that I would say is, just stay innovative, stay as innovative as possible. Health is wealth, and keep going. Don't never stop. Especially during this entrepreneur thing, don't never stop, and focus on the longevity of what you're doing. Don't just do it because it's a fad. Do something that you would actually be passionate about. And, like I said, just stay innovative, man, and stay prayed up, stay as spiritual as possible. And, you can follow all the brands on social media. Secret Society Magazine is on Instagram. It's at Secret Society Magazine. G-Cigars is on Instagram as well. just G-Cigars at G-Cigars. What else? Gyasi Clothing is at Gyasi Clothing, Gyasi Clothing. My main Instagram page is at King Gyasi. That's KingGyasi. So, you know, and if you want to go to the website and purchase anything, it's Gyasi Inc. That's GYASIINC.com. So, you know, just check me out. And, you know, I wish, you know, anybody listening, I wish y'all the best and stay innovative.
Absolutely. And if me and Gyasi can get these numbers right, he might have a course in my community. Let's keep our fingers crossed, y'all. We might collaborate and get a course, but if not, you know, hopefully he does it himself. All right, man. Appreciate you, and be safe out there, man. And thank you for talking to me.
All right, thank you.
Before you go, I want to leave you with a mental picture. And before I leave you with it, I want to tell you what it is first. A mental picture is something that says a law of nature. And when you're listening to or reading this law of nature, you close your eyes and imagine it as it's being read, as you're listening to it. Now, when I say close your eyes, I know some of you listen to me on your way to work. Do not close your eyes while you're driving. And when I say close your eyes, I know that I'm in the restoration industry. I help out a lot of people get insurance money to rebuild their homes. And I know a lot of contractors. So don't close your eyes while you're operating heavy machinery. Contractors. Don't close your eyes while you're walking from the living room to the kitchen. Unless you have an open floor plan. In that case, you might be all right. But anyway, I want you to be in a safe place. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine this as I read it to you. Down in South America, there's a rare flower that requires rain inside of its cup. The falling water revives and refreshes the entire plant. But the flower must be receptive to the rain. If it bends over too far, water cannot enter its cup. If the flower remains in a receptive position, its health is assured. You got to be receptive to be revived. You got to be in the right position to be refreshed. I just interviewed Gyasi Thurmon, who started his entrepreneur endeavors at the age of 12 and is still going, still adding new credits to his name because he's receptive to opportunities. And when he's receptive to those opportunities, he's in position to be refreshed. Go back and listen to the mental picture I read to you again. Close your eyes. Imagine the flower lifted up. You can imagine butterflies, dragonflies, and hummingbirds flying around it just to make it more real. A beautiful flower. Gorgeous. And imagine walking up to that flower and seeing that rain inside of its cup. And you know that rare flower with that rain inside of its cup only has rain inside of it when it's in the right position. If it puts its head down, the water's gone. And so is the flower's life. Be receptive. Always keep water in your cup. Don't just listen to these stories and think that's just them. No, think if he can do it, I can do it too. This is the Entreprenudist Podcast.
Gotta make another couple $100,000 a month. No, I can do it, I just gotta stay in the hunt. Grab some snacks and some fluids and a couple hands of blunts. I play through the fourth quarter, I don't play in the punt. Gotta make another couple $100,000 a month. Watch me. No, I can do it, I just gotta stay in the hunt. Grab some snacks and some fluids and a couple hands of blunts. I play through the fourth quarter, I don't play in the punt. Watch me, son. If words to cut, I got lots of swords. I'm old school like a harpsichord. I'm no fool, I'm with the gods and lords. A cold brew that's quality hops, of course. This for the crews that's tired.
You've just been listening to the Entreprenudist Podcast, the place to come hear real entrepreneurs and business owners bear it all. If you just arrived to the station, subscribe to the station.